Hey, and welcome to the Jessica Paul podcast. I'm your host, Jess Paul, actress, manifestation expert, and mindset coach. And I'm here to share with you all of my secrets on confidence, success, and the magic of manifestation. If you're ready to dive in deep and see more success in your career, more money in your bank account, and more love in your life with a whole new level of freedom, then you're in the right place. I'm letting loose on everything you need to take back control of your life, up-level your mindset, and tap into your manifestation powers. I'm so excited that you're here. Hello, gorgeous souls, and welcome back to the JP podcast. It's me, Jess Paul, here to help you manifest your next level life, get you feeling confident, get you creating, calling in everything you've ever wanted in your life. If you're new to the community, welcome. If you are a regular listener, welcome back. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Guys, I've got such an exciting episode for you today. So it's been a while since I've done I've had a guest speaker onto the podcast. And actually this guest speaker I have wanted to have on the podcast for a while. She's a very, very good friend of mine. She actually started off as a client of mine. We were working together for nearly a year, guys, and I was helping her up-level her mindset, up-level her business, and she's now a very special friend living in Australia. We are going to see each other. We've planned it all out. It's going to happen. And this episode is all about tapping into your psychic abilities. So guys, it's very freaking interesting. But before I introduce this wonderful guest, Shanae, properly, I'm going to give you our little sponsor for this week. And I'm also going to give you a little life update for this week as well. So my sponsor for this week is a little bit different. I've been asked to guest speak at another event, which is really exciting. And I've teamed up with The Edge Events, which is a networking events company for women in business. And at this event, myself and 4 of the guest speakers are going to be giving you all the tips, tricks, and hacks all evening about how self-love is going to help enhance your business and your creative careers. Because again, guys, this isn't just for business owners specifically. This is for any other creative or freelancer who wants to enhance their profile and get yourself noticed. And we're going to be talking about how self-love is really going to help you do that. And not only this, there's also live entertainment. We've got some gorgeous singers involved. There's a cocktail making class. It's all very bougie. It's great. And it's in alignment and at the same time as Valentine's Day, guys. Like, it's just a couple of days before Valentine's Day. So it's the perfect opportunity to focus in on your self-love, to do it for you because you freaking deserve it, and to network and connect with other like-minded, ambitious women and business owners too. So if you want to come along, all of the information is going to be in my show notes. You can grab your tickets there. I think there is a limited number of spaces for people to come along, so do get in there. But if you have any questions, just pop me a DM over on Instagram at I am Jessica Paul, and I will be happy to help you out and get you your ticket, and see you all there. So guys, my life update for this week. So this actually flew in, again, huge manifestations. This flew in pretty much straight after I had been chatting to our gorgeous guest speaker on the podcast today. We sat down to record this episode for you all last week, and after we chatted, and you'll hear in the episode, it's really freaking exciting. She actually I don't want to get too much into it. I just want you guys to listen because I know you're going to love it. But after chatting to Shanae, I went off and I received 2 of the hugest manifestations. So as you all know, I have been banging on about channeling energy into my acting career, and I've been telling you guys, I literally said it last week. I said, something's going to happen. Something's going to fly in soon. My angel number 44 had been following me, all of this. And literally within one day, guys, I got cast in 2 films. not just one, but two. They seemingly came out of nowhere. One of them is a collaborative project that's going to be happening in Manchester, so it's a northern project. And the other one was a company that I've worked with before years ago, based in London. They're a really, really professional and successful company, film company. And they just messaged me out of the blue, guys. They were like, Jess, we've written this script and, you just popped into our minds. Like, we just think you'd be perfect for the role. Will you play it? And I was like, hell yes. So I'm going to be literally this month filming two projects that have flown in right at the same time. And again, guys, this just goes to show the power of your frequency, and the power of also affirming these things, not just to yourself, like on the down low, but, to other people, just affirming it, just kind of making it a done deal in your mind that these things are going to flow in, and they always do. And also it's testament to how quickly it can happen. So I'm so excited about this. Updates will follow. I'll obviously keep you in the loop over on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, get over there now at I am Jessica Paul. I always have stories going up there about all the projects that I'm doing within my acting career and in my business. So just very, very excited, guys. And I feel like everything in the space of a day really came into alignment. So that's my life update. More updates will follow. But now, guys, let's get into introducing our gorgeous guest speaker for today's episode. So today we're welcoming on the gorgeous Shanae Brown, who, like I said, was a client of mine for about a year, and I've been helping her work on setting up her business, work on setting up her YouTube channel, up leveling her mindset to whole new levels. And I love going on these journeys with my one-on-one clients because we fricking go all in. And actually, it's funny because I haven't taken on another one-on-one for a very long time because, like I said, we work really closely together on this. But I will actually put in my show notes the little application form if you do feel like it might be something that you want to invest in, because I will be having some more spaces come up available very soon. So that's for the business owner, the ambitious woman, the ambitious creative, the woman who wants to take her life and her career next level. That's for you. And if you feel like you're ready for that one-on-one experience, then get your application form in, girl, and we can chat. But anyway, Shanae is an Australian spiritual life coach, energy healer, YouTuber, and actress. She uses her unique combination of intuitive abilities, deep subconscious work, instilling empowering mindset beliefs and energy healings to guide her one-on-one clients to transform, up-level, and manifest the life of their dreams. She loves to work with women who are at any stage of their spiritual journey and helps them open up their own gifts to co-create with the universe and ignite their soul's purpose. She guides her clients to go from surviving to thriving and live a more well-rounded and fulfilled heart-led life. So, like I said, guys, me and Shanae worked together for nearly a year. We became very close friends, spiritual sisters, and I'm so excited to get her on because we dive in deep, talking all things spirituality. And I'm so proud of how far she's come, everything that she's achieving. I'm so excited to see that she's launching her business this month. So guys, all the info will be in the show notes. And of course, if you enjoy this episode, which I'm sure you will, do remember to take a screenshot, tag us both on Instagram, let us know how you found it. We can all share the love. And if you got any questions, drop me a DM, drop Shanae a DM. But basically, guys, just enjoy and can't wait to hear what you think. Welcome, Shanae, onto the podcast. I'm literally so excited to sit down and chat with you today.
Thank you so much for having me on, Jess. I'm very excited and just happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, we have so much that we can dive into. So obviously, we were working together. You were my client for nearly a year, like on and off. Like we had like gaps in between, but and now we're just like, you're just like my spiritual sister. Like, I know that you're all the way in Australia, but we talk every day and it's so lovely. And we really dive into so much of the deep spiritual side of things, don't we, together? And it's been such a joy to chat with you and some of the things that I'm finding out about myself and kind of diving into those psychic abilities and stuff. And I just know that there's going to be so many of my listeners that are so excited about this episode. So I want to start off basically I've introduced this thing where I do like quick fire questions at the start of an interview with someone now, because I just feel like it breaks the ice a little bit and it helps my listeners get to know you a little bit more. So are you ready for my quick fire questions?
Yes, okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, so what is your zodiac sign?
I'm a Gemini.
Okay,
yeah,
amazing.
So I'm actually born on the 6th of the 6th. So
are
yes.
you? Oh yes. My God, I love that. Angel numbers.
Yes.
Do you know your sun and your moon signs?
Yes, I do. So I am a Pisces rising and I'm a Virgo moon.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Yeah. So I'm just on the brink of Virgo, but what did I find out the other day? Oh yeah, Taurus moon for me. So
beautiful.
Yeah, it is quite beautiful, isn't it? Okay, amazing. So do you have a morning practice or ritual?
Yes, I do. However, I follow my intuition. So every day is different. I have recently just manifested my dream apartment on the coast, and now I'm only a 2-minute walk from the beach. So almost every morning I will go for a walk, ground myself, go for a little swim, especially because we're in summer in Australia. So I'm very grateful for that. However, I do also find I really like to mix it up and keep it fresh, because I feel like if you're in the mentality of, oh, I have to do X, Y, Z, it becomes like a little bit overwhelming and you can almost like beat yourself up if you miss a few things. And I got into that, a little bit of a trick with that. So yeah, it'll sort of be like meditation, always gratitude, even if it's like writing it or just expressing it. Like my housemate and I will just be like, thank you, universe. Like we'll just walk around the house and just like live in that high vibrational energy. But honestly, and just like nourishing your body with like all of the good things. So I'll either do like a celery juice or like a hot lemon and water, just something to really ground in my body.
Yeah, no, really good point as well about not being too ritualistic about your morning routines and stuff, because if we get into that state, it's kind of one of those things that if ever we go away or like travel anywhere and let's say like we forget our journal or something, or we don't have a certain crystal, we're like, oh my God, my life's over. But we don't have to be like that. And like you said, it's so about your intuition. And I want to chat to you today about that, all about that. But
amazing.
Okay, so my next question is, are you a tea or a coffee girl?
Oh, I'm definitely a tea gal all the way. I've got a lemon and ginger tea with me now. That's my go-to. Look, I do treat myself to a coffee maybe once or twice a week. I'll just have an almond latte, but honestly, like the caffeine doesn't agree too well with me on a regular basis, especially since I've become more intuitive. It's almost like it just makes me really jittery at times.
Girl, I 100% get you there with the coffee thing. I'm actually drinking a green tea now. But I do love a coffee. I love a coffee, but I've also found, and especially with alcohol, any of the like kind of the caffeine based or like those depressives, like the next day I'm literally, my energy has been zapped out of me. That's how I feel. So yeah, I'm the same. And also I've got kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but my voice is like a lot lower today because I've got a bit of a sore throat. So I've been on the honey and lemon myself as well. Okay, amazing.
Another thing that I also have introduced in the last few months is a hot cacao, which is also a coffee replacement. And it's really good for opening like the heart chakra and like connecting to your intuition. It's like got all these amazing health benefits as well, but it is quite like a spiritual drink. And literally like I made it for my friends the other day and they'd never had it before. They're like, oh my God, it's like drinking like hot chocolate, but it's healthy.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
I've heard of this. I've not actually tried it myself, but I've definitely heard of this because I've got some of the spiritual sisters that live nearby, and they have it as part of their like healing process for their clients. So I have to try that. I'll definitely have to try that.
You will. I'll link you to the brand. We have a local brand in Perth and they are just absolutely amazing. So I'll definitely send it to you.
Oh yeah, send me the link and I'll put the link in the show notes for everyone as well, so they can try it. Oh my God, amazing. Okay, so right, what's your favorite self-development book? right now?
Ooh, my favorite book at the moment is Light is the New Black. I've just started reading it again. So I'm pretty sure it's by Rebecca Campbell. The name's just like, yeah, just left my mind. But it's incredible. I read it sort of at the start of my spiritual journey, and I've just come back and starting to reread just chapters that I feel intuitively called to.
Right.
And she's actually, it is Rebecca Campbell. I've got my little card deck here. So she has lots of oracle cards.
I've got the same one, girl. For those listening, it's the Starseed Oracle deck. And I literally have the same one. It's beautiful, beautiful illustrations. We will link them all in the show notes for you.
Yes. So she's got a few books out and they are incredible. I've also done a couple of her online courses. She does a lot of soul work. Amazing. And all of that. And so absolutely love her.
Fabulous. Oh, amazing. Okay. So at the moment, like, what is your favorite crystal right now?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
I know.
I would say the one that I'm most feeling I have two at the moment. So is my Himalayan quartz crystal.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yes, so it's absolutely beautiful. It's it helps connect in with your higher self. And yeah, it's just a really great crystal to like meditate with and all of that. So yes, and then the other one, which my mum actually bought me a few, like a jade. I've got this jade ring, and yeah, I love working with that as well. That's really good for like healing your heart and all of that.
Yeah, that lovely green jade. Green is my favorite color. It's probably because of that heart chakra for myself as well. Okay, so final question. What is the coolest thing you've ever manifested?
Oh my goodness. The coolest thing. I mean, the thing that first popped into my mind was definitely our apartment that we just manifested, because it happened so quickly. You know, I literally we made the decision to get the apartment on the Thursday. There's just like a little story behind this. I was meant to be moving in with another friend for about 4 or 5 months. That had been in the works. And when it came down to it, I went to the house. She was the one that was building. And I just intuitively, and I kind of channeled, and I was like, I'm not meant to live here. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been so looking forward to this. I was ready to live by the beach. It's summer. I was ready. And I was like, okay, I don't know why, but I'm not meant to live here for whatever reason. So I literally surrendered all of my fear, all of my doubts, and all my anxiety basically to my guides, and also to my uncle who recently passed away. And I said, okay, I cannot start my business where I'm living right now. I can't do it. So if I'm meant to start this business in January 2022, then you've got to sort it out for me. And I literally just like let it go. The next day, I kid you not, one of my friends messaged me in the morning, and she was like, Shanae, like I'm looking at places along the coast. And that was just for herself. She was looking at 1-bedrooms. And then I said to her, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to move in with you. And it just absolutely aligned in a crazy fashion. And we were in 2 weeks later in the market that is at the moment. Like,
oh my God. 2 weeks later as well. Like, I know, because you were messaging me the whole time. And it's funny because we were just chatting before we hit record on this interview about how your environment has been so what's the word I'm looking for? It's been so important to you.
Vital, yeah.
It's been vital to you, because when we were working together, obviously you were living at home, and it was during lockdown and everything. And I'm sure a lot of people relate to that too, being in environments that they maybe didn't want to be in. And for you, it's been such a powerful thing energetically, because you've been able to just open up so many sides of yourself. And you were saying before that even people were commenting like on how you just look better, your skin is better, like everything. And that's really is the power of the energy that you're living in. And and I'm just so happy that it's all happened for you. It's all aligned perfectly how it was supposed to. Amazing. Such a great manifestation.
All in perfect timing, as we like to say.
100%. Amazing. Okay, Shanae. So that was all the quick fire questions to get to know you a little bit better. And I just want to like dive into this interview today. And I want you to just let everybody know a little bit more about you and your story, and kind of what led you to firstly setting up your YouTube channel, because you have a YouTube channel, and your business, which is going to be launching soon. And obviously I've played a part in that. I've been with you on the journey, which has been so gorgeous, like so amazing to see everything unfold for you. But tell us a little bit about what got you to this point today.
Wow. There's a lot in that, but I'll try and make it as concise as possible. Yes. So once again, thank you so much for all of your guidance and just beautiful energy over the last 12 months. I can't believe it's been a year since that we started working together. It's just, it's crazy. So yes, I am from Perth, Australia. And I'm an actor as well. And I moved over to Sydney when I was 18. It was always an ambition of mine to pretty much leave as soon as possible. Like as soon as I was 18, I got into an acting school in Sydney and just like packed my bags, didn't know a soul over there. And I guess I started auditioning, and I worked every job under the sun. I somehow wound up in the corporate world. So by day I was working in corporate, and then on my lunch breaks or after work I was going to auditions or recordings or anything. And so I was over there for 5 years, and the last year and a half that I was there, I went through a very traumatic breakup that was extremely toxic and very, very unhealthy, extreme codependency issues like on his part with me, but I was very much in that caretaker, that mothering kind of role. I was always trying to fix and save and So by the time that relationship ended, I was absolutely depleted. I was half a human. And it's crazy because I wasn't aware that that was the case. I was just, toughen up, like she'll be right. Like that's an Australian saying. So like get on with it, basically, toughen up. And so that's what I did. I pushed through. And I remember one lady at my work, she said to me, she was like, Shanae, like, maybe you should go back to Perth and just, take a few months out. And that was not an option for me at all, because in my eyes, if I came back, I had failed, which was a huge, huge thing. So essentially, I continued to work, and I climbed up the corporate ladder. And at the same time that I was doing so well there, my health began to rapidly decline. And basically, it had been pinpointed that I had an autoimmune disease. So they told me that I had Graves' disease, which is an overactive thyroid condition. And at this point in my life, I was 22. So I was very young to have all of this sort of stuff happen. And so they put me on medication and blah, blah, blah. And then over the next year, I was taking the medication. I had started doing a few natural things as well. I was seeing a kinesiologist, which was great, but I was just not improving. I put on 12 to 14 kilos in a year. I was just so unhealthy. And finally, my dad came over for a visit, and he hadn't seen me in a few months, and he just looked at me and he's like, Shanae, you need to come home. Like it was just shocked to see where I was. And that's when I really had to look in the mirror, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to go home.
Yeah.
So That's essentially what I did. I was forced to stop. And so I packed up my bags and I came back to Perth, pretty much against my will, but I also knew that I needed to do that. And that's really when I guess I hit my rock bottom at 23 and I had nothing, they were bribing me with so much money to stay there as well. That it was a 30K bonus for me to stay an extra 2 months.
Wow.
And that was very, very hard to turn down. But I was like, nah, I've got to do it. I've got to come back home.
Yeah. So it's crazy, isn't it? Because I think there's a lot of people, I always say you don't have to hit your rock bottom before you start this work, but
yes,
I think there's so many of us that when we go through a spiritual awakening or when we really start diving into our self-development, we've always kind of hit a point like that. It might not be the same for everybody, but as well, in my own story, like the rock bottom that I hit too. And it's always kind of that like pivotal moment, isn't it, for us, where we can either go, okay, I'm going to like carry on down this route, or I'm going to sort my shit out and I'm going to make it work. And I suppose that was the pivotal moment for you, at the age of 23. And again, so once you hit that point, what happened next for you?
Well, I couldn't work for months because my health was just awful. And basically I was seeing a doctor as well, but I started seeing a naturopath. And I walked into her office, and I'll never forget that day because that was the turning point of my whole life. And I just walked in and I told her what I had. And she said to me, just by looking at me, she said, you don't have Graves' disease, you have Hashimoto's, which is the total opposite. So it's an underactive thyroid condition.
No way.
So I had been on the wrong medication for over a year.
Wow.
And I did later get that confirmed. Like, she sent me for more testing and I went to, doctors as well. So it was confirmed by both parties. And I was seeing one of the top specialists in Sydney. And they got it completely wrong.
Oh my gosh.
So that's when I really decided that I had to take matters into my own hands. And she said to me, are you ready to take the power back in your life?
Oh, what a phrase. I've heard that before. Yeah.
And I said yes. So from there, I really started, first of all, with my health and really building that up and doing all of the natural like healing modalities that I possibly could. And from there, that sort of like trickled on to, I did an online acting course, and it was all to do with mindset and meditation and visualization. And I'd been acting for years and years, and no one had ever put this spiritual mindset twist and spin to do with acting. And it was just like a light bulb. I was like, oh my goodness, I was never going to make it with the mindset that I had at all.
Absolutely.
I did not believe in myself.
Absolutely. And again, obviously, because this is one of the reasons why we connected, wasn't it?
Yes.
In the online space, because you saw that I was an actor myself, doing this work, making it work for so many other actors out there. And obviously I'm coaching all sorts of creative people, but it's what I do. I'm like, that's part of my identity as an actress. So we worked really well together on that. When was it that you kind of discovered me in amongst your healing journey? Was it after you'd kind of worked on more of the health side of things? And then when was the turning point for your kind of like investing in a coach and going for it?
Yes. So it was a little bit further down the track. So I did this online acting course. It was very intense for about 3 months, and did a lot of mindset work. And then from there, I was watching a lot of YouTube, which obviously inspired me to start sharing, to do with law of attraction and manifesting and all of that. And I was like, wow, I do have the power in my own life. And it had just like triggered something back in me, because when I was a kid, my parents had actually bought The Secret and we watched it together as a family.
Wow, did you? Love that.
yeah, when I was about 11. And then all these things came back and I was like, oh, mum used to get me to visualize my dance routines when I was a kid and winning, and but I had completely disconnected from that side of myself,
Yeah.
like completely. But yeah, so I basically was very, very lucky that I went through my spiritual awakening with my friend in Sydney, my best friend in Sydney. We went through our awakenings together.
Yeah.
And so when things started to happen and change, we were lucky that we had each other to bounce ideas off of and go, you're not crazy. It's okay. I'm going through this too, which a lot of
Yeah.
people don't have that support.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
such a good
really
point.
isolating.
Yeah, no, it like 100%, that's such a good point. And that is one of the main reasons why people do get involved in the coaching industry and, join mastermind classes and, find that community of people who get it. Because if you don't have that, it can be very lonely, can't it? Like when you're going through that awakening yourself. So it's amazing that you had, it's amazing that you had that support from your friend that was local to you. So then,
so yes, from that sort of point, I was introduced to my spiritual mentor. So she's a psychic, and I sort of refer to her as like an energy healer, basically.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of deep subconscious work. So I remember walking into her healing room for the first time, and I felt such a ease and comforting energy. And after the session, I was like sobbing, and I was like, one session with this lady was equivalent to 6 months of therapy.
Wow. That's insane.
I was like, oh my good, I just knew I needed to keep doing this work, and she was the one that was really going to help me. So I went weekly to her for months and months and months.
Amazing.
I had a lot that I really needed to shift within myself, and I did a lot of deep healing and shadow work and all of that. And I would say it would probably be 6 months after I started with her, that's when my spiritual gifts started to awaken, and I started channeling and all of that, which we can absolutely get into at some point. But yeah, so it was I would say it happened for the first time on my birthday, so that was June 2020. And then I came across you, I think it was October 2020, around about that time. And I just remember, I don't even know if you commented on something of mine first. I don't know how we connected. I can't remember, but I remember seeing your feed, and there was just so much light, and you were just sharing from this raw place. And I particularly related to you with the breakup with your partner and how that was a real trigger for everything. And I was like, I just have to reach out. And I felt intuitively called to, and I was scared to invest that much money. I absolutely was.
Because you went for it, and you invested in that one-on-one coaching with me, which is my highest ticket coaching, and you fully went for it and embodied it. But it's, again, for anybody listening who kind of does feel that intuitive pull to people, never ignore that intuition, because there's a reason. And you're saying, I don't know how we even connected. I find that a lot with most of the clients that I sign on. It's just kind of they're like, you just kind of came out of nowhere. But there's always a reason. There's always a reason that you've come across the people that you come across. And you fully went for it. And I know you were scared, and everybody is scared when you're investing in yourself in that way. But it was just testament to how far you had come in your own mindset to be like, I know I need the support now. I know I'm ready for this next level.
Yes.
Because that was kind of what it was, wasn't it? You'd done all of that healing work on your health. You'd been going to your energy, healing sessions. And then it was like, right, how do I take it to the next freaking level? And that's obviously when we started working together. And like I said, it's been a joy to be a part of your journey, because you've gone from that space to, over that 12 months, now being able to launch this business and make it fricking happen. And that's just so exciting for me to see.
Yes, I know. It's just wild how quickly things can change and all of that. And it's you're right with the intuitive nudges and pulls and all of that. And sometimes it doesn't make sense logically. It doesn't make sense. So I've recently had one of those big moments where the universe was testing my faith and testing, you know, my belief and my trust and all of that. And basically I recently quit my job, and it was very scary. Not the scariest thing I've ever done, but basically I had felt that the job had served its purpose. However, my ego was still holding on to it. And even though I had all these clients rolling in and people asking for sessions and all of that, and naturally I was literally coaching people on my lunch breaks or during work, like it created such a ripple in my office. It was crazy. And anyway, so basically it got to October last year, and I was like, right, okay. And I remember having a session with you, and you're like, it's time to monetize your gifts, girl.
Yeah.
It's time. You're ready.
Yeah, girl.
And you're like, you should be, you know, like paid for what you do, because you give so much, and, you know, you've transformed people's lives, and it's time to actually make this your full-time thing. Like, you're ready. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, it made me so nervous to do that. But so I spoke to my bosses, and we had negotiated that I would be dropping down to part-time, sort of starting this year, basically 2022. And I was like, perfect. So I'll work 3 days a week and have 4 days on my business. Amazing. So it was kind of like that, half in, half out. I've got a bit of a backup. I've got a safety net, you know. And it was really funny, but as that time sort of like progressed on, those last 2 months, I was feeling like less and less aligned to my workspace. I was just not connected there at all anymore. And basically I was told probably a week before Christmas break that I was no longer able to drop down to part-time because 2 team members had left. So that had been revoked. And they were like, even though I had it in writing and everything, they were like, you know, you go away and you think about it. So that's what I did over the Christmas break. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Like all of the things. And I had the strongest intuition. It was screaming at me, and downloads and all of that, all these messages, all the signs that I asked, all lined up. And then the apartment came, which was the big one. And when that happened, I was like, no, I'm not going back.
This is the power of your intuition. Do you know what? It's funny because I have literally written down in my notes that I wanted to talk to you about intuition specifically today, because it is a question that I get asked a lot, and especially inside my academy. You know, we go on this journey, and I'm helping my students obviously tap into that intuition themselves and actually understand what it means. Because, you know, when we talk about downloads from the universe, some people actually don't understand what that means. So it would be great to chat to you today about that, and basically for you to give some tips for anybody out like listening that don't understand how to tune into that intuition, don't even understand what it is. Like, let's chat today and kind of help out there. So what are your tips for tuning into your intuition?
Beautiful. Yes. So I guess the first main thing that I honestly would be doing is doing that shadow work, and is doing that subconscious beliefs, getting rid of as much of that as possible. Because like I said, I did intensive work. Like, everyone's going to be different, right? But I did that very, very intensely, that shadow work, for a good 6-7 months before my intuition really, really came through. And it's because it's like stripping it away. So it's clearing space in order for these gifts to come through. And it's like, yeah, like you're carrying like a backpack and you finally take the weight off, and then the downloads like begin to come through. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is society and the world that we live in is obviously so fast paced and we're always on the go. And for me, when I was living in Sydney, I was like the Flash, like you would just never see me. I was in that fast paced environment constantly, and I never checked in with myself, and I never allowed that quiet time and to really ground in with my energy. So there's no way that you can channel from, you know, a power above or just within your own intuition if your mind and your environment is too busy. Like it can't, it's chaotic. So yeah, really, like, you know, meditation is obviously the quickest and the easiest way to really ground in. Like there's so many good and powerful ones on YouTube or like, you know, wherever you listen to it, but that's really where like quieting the mind, whatever that means to you. For my dad, he goes surfing, that's his meditation, you know. So that would definitely be something that I would do. But it's basically clearing out the space, clearing the clutter in all areas of your life first and foremost. Because, you know, even like we said, you know, I remember working with you, it's like, if you're, you know, pumping yourself full of these beautiful affirmations and all of the light, but you haven't dealt with the shadows and the shade, it's like, it's not going to balance out.
Yeah, exactly. So that was one thing I would always bang on to you, and you probably get tired of like hearing it from me, about plugging that light in. But if you don't have a space to plug the light into, then it's not going to work. It's just going to be too overcrowded. And it was actually a really good point that you made there about meditation is personal to you, because personally for me, I found it really difficult to get into meditation when I first started it. It was a difficult thing to just sit there and be like, okay, well, my mind is clearly not quieting right now. And so I found it through different ways. For example, for me, singing was a way of doing it, or like drawing, or like painting, or just anything where your mind is focusing on one thing, and you're again, like the clutter, that those conscious thoughts are just kind of like clearing out. And I also do believe that this is why our rituals that we do are so important, because the reason that we do our rituals is quite literally just to give ourselves time and space. Like, even if for 2 minutes in the morning, you're sitting there with your morning coffee and you're getting intentional about what is going on inside your mind, that's enough. That's creating space for the downloads, for the intuition to come in. And you know, that's why I think it's, you know, it's so important to do every single day, create that space, just reminding yourself every day, I'm creating more space.
I like to think of it as it's coming back home to yourself, and it's having a relationship with your soul, and literally your soul is yearning for you. It is yearning for you to come back home to yourself and actually listen, because everything that you possibly need in this world, as like cliched as it is, it comes from within. It really does. But a lot of people, they don't know how to get back. They don't know how to tap back into that heart energy and that soul. And, you know, they're just living in the monkey mind, the ego, which is all of the limiting beliefs, all of the doubt. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. The mind chatter that essentially goes on. And so in differentiation between the ego versus like your intuition, when you tap into it, when you think of the thought, does it make you feel elevated and alive and vibrant? Because that's your intuition. If it makes you feel really heavy and, you know, not good about yourself, 99% of the time, that's your ego.
100%. The way that I like to describe this as well is kind of, are you leaning into the most loving decision? You know,
Mm-hmm.
are you leaning into love or are you leaning into fear in those
Yes.
moments? And I've given this example before, you know, about how, like, let's say you're getting up to go to the gym in the morning. What's your body telling you? Are you going to the gym out of love for your body because you want to move your body and you love your body? Or are you going to the gym because you're fearing that maybe you need to lose weight, or maybe like you're in that stress mindset around it? And that's again where you can feel into your intuition, because it's always coming from that 5D loving place. And
Yes.
so that's always a question you can ask yourself. Is this the most loving place right now? Is this the most loving decision right now for me? And that's another way of obviously really listening to your body and your intuition. So yeah, amazing. And Shanae, for you, obviously, you know, we're so big on this energy. We're so big on tuning into these downloads ourselves, because for you, as you mentioned earlier on, you started opening up these abilities, these other senses within yourself, which we've been chatting loads about. And I want you to just let everybody know kind of how you first started getting into mediumship and your psychic abilities. Give us like the lowdown on exactly what the hell happened there for you and some of the things you've experienced, because I obviously am going to be having a reading with you,
Yes.
which I'm super excited about. But yeah, give us the lowdown on that.
So the first time that I channeled a message, like I said, was my birthday 2020, so a year and a half ago. And it was the first weekend after lockdown that we had in Perth. We were in a lockdown for 8 weeks. We've been very lucky here. And anyway, I was out to dinner with a couple of friends and obviously had a couple of drinks, but wasn't to the point of, you know, being drunk or on the floor. I just had a couple with dinner.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I was staying at a hotel as well. So I wasn't in my family home.
Mm-hmm.
And I was staying there with my best friend. And I remember walking back to the hotel and I felt very just with the stars, and the moon was out. I'm pretty sure it was a full moon from memory. And I was just feeling so connected to the sky.
Yeah.
And we got back and she just fell asleep very, very quickly. And I was lying in my bed and tossing and turning. And then I heard like messages started to come through, and it did sound like my voice, but it came through almost through like my crown chakra, my third eye. So it's like clairaudience. So clairaudience is where you hear things. And I started channeling all these messages about like myself and my friends, things to do with family members, when people were going to get married, when all of these like big events basically. And I was like, wow, okay, what is going on? I felt weirdly calm, but also freaking the F out.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up in the morning and I just journaled everything that I had channeled. And I didn't really think too much of it until a few months later when I was looking back at my journals and I was like, oh my gosh, like literally like 70% of this stuff has happened. I was like gobsmacked, you know, to the point of like one of my friends getting pregnant and all of that. And
wow.
It was just, and they were not trying, believe me, it was a very unexpected pregnancy. And I was like, oh my goodness, okay, this is interesting. And really, when those gifts started to escalate was I came into union with a soulmate. He was, I thought, was my twin flame, which like he absolutely wasn't. But I came into union with this guy, and it was like when we met each other, he on the first date, he told me, "You feel like home to me," and that's exactly what it felt like. And we weren't together that long. It was on and off for a few months, but that's when I started channeling messages around like his higher self when we were in separation. And I would write down these messages being like, I'm feeling a little bit crazy. And then he would message me almost word for word what I had written down. And I was
Wow.
just, we were so connected
Yeah.
all of the time. And it was during that time that all of my dialogue and my communication with the universe really, really strengthened. So when I was asking for signs, I was getting them, I was
Mm.
getting guided left, right, and
Yeah.
center.
Oh my
So
God, amazing. This is like so freaking cool. And also, obviously, because we've been having chats about where I'm at on my journey and like some of the similar
yes.
experiences I've had. But how did it feel when you first like openly came out as being psychic? Because again, it kind of feels like you're in this spiritual closet. Like even if, even if, you're not tapping into like psychic abilities, just coming out as being like spiritual in general
Spiritual in
can,
general.
yeah, it can be difficult for people. And especially for you, we spoke about a lot how like how dealing with people who maybe don't get it and how you go about that. Like, how was it for you when you first came out as being psychic?
As I mentioned before, I was very lucky that I went through my awakening simultaneously with my best friend in Sydney. Even though she wasn't in Perth, we would chat daily. We were voice noting each other 24/7. We started channeling past lives and
Wow.
things like that, which was just crazy.
Yeah.
Well, not crazy, but
Yeah.
at the time I remember being like, are we crazy?
It's
Like, what is
scary.
going
Yeah.
on? It's like a remembering of different things. And yeah, so I guess I started sort of opening up to people that I really could trust. So close friends, I would just start just sort of like opening up bit by bit kind of thing. And if I would hear a message from something for them, I would let them know. For
Mm.
example, like last year, this my friend, she was really deciding if she should quit her job, and she had no backup, and obviously it was COVID, and she was freaking out, but she was hating her job. And I heard that she was going to get a job in 2 weeks, like, but she had to take the leap and trust that the universe had her back. So
Mm-hmm.
this new job could not come in the energy that she was in, because she
Mm-hmm.
was in a very low vibrational frequency. So
Mm-hmm.
I said to her, I was like, look, this is what I'm getting. I know it's coming for you in 2 weeks. And anyway, so she did. She took my advice. She quit. And sure enough, like, she just posted about it, about like quitting her job on the whim and blah, blah, blah. And this lady contacted her, and basically one thing led to another, and she got a job, and she started 2 weeks after.
Wow. Wow. It is crazy. It is crazy, but it's
Yeah.
not, but it is like it's
Mm-hmm.
and for you, because now you like totally embody it. Obviously, yeah,
Now
you're
I totally
building.
embody it. Yes, but I guess initially it was really feeling into my energy and how I was feeling with certain people. So I really started to pull back
Mm.
from friendships and family members that would leave me feeling emotionally drained
Yeah.
or depleted.
Mhm.
I had to cut a lot of friends. I'm
Mm.
being really
Yeah.
honest. Like,
Yeah.
especially at the beginning, I
Mhm.
could only, because when you are going through your special spiritual awakening, at the beginning, you're very open to everyone's energy influencing you.
Yeah.
And so I really chose to only be around people that lit me up. Like, just
Yeah, that's a great way
absolutely,
of putting it as well.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's a huge thing that I teach every single one of my students that, it's not about, you don't need to be nasty about it. You don't need to like be
Mhm.
brutal about it. It's just about respecting and owning your own energy and understanding what's best for you and your highest
Mhm.
self. And, you know, um, anybody kind of listening to this podcast, they're all you're all a little bit in tune with your energy, otherwise you wouldn't have made it
Otherwise
this
you
far
wouldn't.
through. You wouldn't be still here listening to us otherwise. So we're all in tune with our energy. And this is why when we were talking about intuition, this is really how you bridge into your psychic abilities, by just being so open and honest with yourself about
Mm.
what your energy is and how you're actually feeling around other people. And when you can start to filter out all of the negative energy and just be in your higher self's energy, that's when these things come through. And so for you, it's obviously like come through, and it's very powerful for you now, and you're serving lots of people. But it can be difficult, can't it, when you're coming out of that spiritual closet, and you, for the first time, I'm going through it myself, as where I've not openly said to, I like to test it out on people. I like to test it out on my friends and just be like, I'm psychic, and they're like, really, Jess? Like, they'll either laugh at me, or they'll nod their head and be like, okay, Jess. But it's just kind of like testing the waters, isn't it, with it, and just allowing yourself to open up more and more.
Well, exactly. It's that total embodiment energy. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And even at my work before, I started sharing with, one or two people, and then that sort of grew. And then when I channeled, there was a lady that was leaving. She was trying to get another job. And I said to her, this was probably in, let me say, July or August, and I said to her, I'm hearing October, you'll be getting a new job in October. And sure enough, she started her new job on like the 2nd of October.
Crazy.
So, and then I remember like two of the girls like ran up to me, and when they found out she was leaving, and that's when she was starting, and they're like, Shanae, you said that was gonna happen. And I was like, yeah, I know.
and this is how you're helping people today with these gifts, and it's amazing. Before we logged on to do this, you said that during your day to day that you were kind of tuning into my higher self and just maybe channeling a few things. So I'd be really interested to hear like what came through, because obviously we've not had a proper reading yet, and like we'll do that, but why she came through, like I'm really, really intrigued and interested to know.
Yes. So for me, it definitely comes through in a lot of different ways, but I was really called. I felt your energy all day, and she was wanting to get a message through. So I was like, okay. So basically what I do, I literally shut my eyes and I just start writing, and it just like comes through. So this is just the little message that came through from your higher self. Hey girl, I just wanted to say how proud of you I am, and for what's going on right now. I know the past few months haven't been easy for you. I know you've struggled and felt alone at times. Just know that this is for the bigger picture. You had to shed those layers and those people in order for your dreams to manifest. Without the dark and shade, there cannot be any light. You have a big year in capital letters coming up, and you know it. Please be selfish and honor your body, protect your energy, and you are about to come into your spiritual gifts. And see my writing, it's a different kind of writing.
Oh my God.
And something, yeah, you're about to come into your spiritual gifts, all in perfect timing. You're in the hermit stage at the moment, and that's what's needed. Don't worry if the actions you are taking don't make sense. You are being so guided by your angels and your gran right now. They are lighting the path for you and the road less traveled. And you need to travel. Get out there, girl. Experience the world. That is where your man is, and he's so ready. He's manifesting you, and he's ready for you. The recent friendship that ended needed to. She was toxic and did not serve your highest purpose. You are going to change the world one day, one step at a time, by being you. You are always supported and never alone, even though it feels like no one gets it or you and understands at times. Your soul tribe is coming in this year, Jess. They are coming in hot. Love you, girl.
Oh my God. I feel a little bit emotional. Like I feel like crying. That's insane, Shanae, because I don't know whether you heard some of my earlier podcasts, but I spent New Year's Eve alone. I keep banging on about how I'm like feeling like a hermit at the moment, and you literally came up in that. And God, there's just so much in there. I just want to like being guided by my gran, by my nana. That for me is like a big deal, because like we had a conversation about a dream I had.
Yes.
And I won't go into huge detail on it now because it's quite personal, but For me, that was the most emotional thing, because I'd been wondering whether she was guiding me or not, and I hadn't channeled her myself. I had with my granddad, but not with my nana. So that was like crazy to hear. And also about the friend that left, because that did kind of happen to me recently, which
really? Wow.
Yeah, it did. And
So
I
we
mean, like,
definitely did not speak about that.
no, we haven't. We never had a conversation about that. And that it wasn't like a huge dramatic thing. She just kind of left my life. It was just like a natural thing. It just happened, and I didn't really think much about it, and I didn't really hurt much about it either. But I definitely knew it was for a reason, which was crazy that came up. My God. Oh,
Yeah.
God, I can't. I'm so excited for my full reading.
Yes. Can't wait to do that with you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, girl. I'm shook. That's amazing. Okay, Shanae. So I want to talk to you about spiritual signs, right? Signs from the universe, because I'm probably going to do a whole episode on this myself, a solo episode on it, because I have so many myself, and my audience will hear me banging on all the time about my angel number 44, which keeps following me. And, I've had some crazy experiences with that. And a lot of my friends and family, they all know that about me as well. They mention it now. They see it, and they're like, Jess, look at the time. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's there.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about what maybe some of your signs are, and how you can kind of look out for them.
Yes. So my sort of main two signs are blue butterflies and sunflowers. They're my main two that always are talking to me all the time. I quite often certain songs as well.
Okay.
Obviously the different number sequences. It's funny that yours is 44, because mine is 444, and that actually relates to which we'll speak about at some point, but my uncle that passed away, that number is very relevant to him, so that's come through a lot for me lately. However, when I remember one of the first times that I was testing out how to ask for a sign, and I'll just quickly share this story because it's so funny. But basically, I had very serendipitously started this temp job this time last year, as a matter of fact, and this job had like absolutely come out of the blue. And I was like, okay, perfect. So the fact that I even landed it was very weird. I had not worked with this temp agency for a year. And I randomly messaged them, and they were like, oh, we have a job at this place starting on Monday. And I was like, okay, perfect. So I went in for the job, and we were all wearing masks and whatnot. And basically it was like first thing in the morning, this guy walked past and he really caught my eye. And I was like, oh my goodness, this man's beautiful. And I haven't even seen his whole face yet. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, okay. So anyway, that sort of happened. And a day or two later, he came back down again, and he was having issues with his key. And the other like receptionist, she was helping him out, and he left anyway. And she said to me, she was like, Shanae, like, two would make a great couple. Like, he's gorgeous. Like, maybe we can find out if he's single, because he was new to the building as well. And I was like, oh, okay. So we're trying. She was like, I'm going to find out. And then anyway, so that was her little mission for the week. And every day, like, this key kept breaking. Like, he was coming down every day. It was bizarre. Anyway, it got to the Friday, and my job was meant to be finishing on the Monday. And I remember that night when I drove home, I asked the universe, I was like, okay, universe, if I'm meant to ask this guy out, and show me a sign of sunflowers. It was the first thought that popped through my mind. And so that's really important. The first thing that comes through, don't micromanage it, just go with it. If it's like a daffodil or just anything, just go for it. Anyway, so the next day, and then you've got to forget about it. Pretend that you haven't even remembered, you know? And anyway, the next day I was watching a YouTube video, and this couple just was randomly dancing in a field of sunflowers. And I was like, I don't know if that counts, like, as you do.
Yeah.
So I just was like, no, sorry, that doesn't count. It gets to Monday. We're now mask free, by the way. And a delivery of sunflowers arrives to the front desk. And I was the one that had to sign for it.
No.
And I could not believe it. And this lady had been given some from a secret admirer. And anyway, so she comes down, gets the sunflowers. Next minute, he walks down. He's still having key issues, this time without a mask. And I was like, oh my goodness, you are the most handsome man I've ever seen in my life.
Love that.
So I did it, like, and I didn't know if he was single because we hadn't figured that out either. Like, we would just, the lady was drawing a blank. And anyway, so that night I emailed him, like, as soon as I was leaving the office, I was like, what have I got to lose? I don't work here.
Yes.
So I did. I was like, hi, like, it's Shanae, the temp receptionist. Like, I think you're really handsome. Here's my number if you want to get coffee.
I love that. I love that.
And he replied within like 10 minutes, and he texted me and he was like, oh my goodness. He was like, I was trying to find you in the system. I wanted to ask you out for lunch, but I couldn't find you because I was a temp. I wasn't in the system. So it was just crazy. So that's just a little story of how
crazy. I love that. And I love stories like this because, again, for anybody who thinks it's kind of like a coincidence, like, it never is. And this is, again, a really practice in tuning into trusting yourself and your intuition, because when you first watched that YouTube video with people in sunflowers, like, that was like the first sign that was being given to you. And it's just about, again, this is intuition, again, like trusting what is coming through and going, okay, that is a sign. And if you believe it, it will come, and this is why, like, my angel number 44 is following me all the time. And, even I said on my last podcast episode, a couple of episodes back, about a neighbor who lives upstairs and how he's seeing it everywhere. He literally moved out and he moved into a house and the house number was number 44. Like, that's literally how crazy this is. And anyway, so I love that example. I love also, like, hearing your signs, because we actually share that sign in the butterflies as well, don't we? Which is we do. Lovely. Yeah. We do. But again, like, I could chat for freaking hours with you about all of this stuff. That I can. And in fact, like, I'm looking at my notes and like what I wanted to ask you, and I haven't got through half of the things I wanted to. So I definitely would love to have you back on the podcast, because also we're going to do a reading, aren't we? Like, you're going to do a reading or clearing on me, and I want to also chat about that. So I will definitely be asking you back on the podcast, girl, so that we can dive into that. And anybody that has any questions, like, from listening to this episode, I'm going to, of course, tag all of Shanae's social links in the show notes, so you can, like, go and follow her, see what she does, and DM us, like, take a screenshot, tag us on Instagram, and like, let us know what you want to hear about, or anything that's resonated with you in this, and because we will dive into another episode for you all to, like, go in deep.
Absolutely, we need a part 2.
We do need a part 2. So my last little question then, before we end this, would be just, what's, like, your biggest advice for someone either starting off their spiritual journey or someone that's, like, wanting to go to that next level with their spiritual journey? What's your biggest advice?
Oh, that is a good question. I would say my biggest advice would be really, really just create the space and listen within, because your own inner voice and your own inner guidance is going to light the way. It really is. And just take small steps. You don't have to, dive into all this like work all in one go, it maybe can feel a little bit overwhelming, but it's just a day by day process. Like, just commit to yourself, hey, I'm going to start doing a 2-minute meditation today, and just, you can slowly build up from there. I think that would be my biggest advice, is like, don't feel overwhelmed. Listen to your intuition and listen to your body. Because that's what I first started listening to before my intuition came through, was my body.
Right. This is literally, and I bang on about it all the time as well. This is the first thing I say inside my academy and with my clients, like, listen to your body, just listen to your body, because that's all it is. And great advice there about just taking it one step at a time, because we can easily become overwhelmed, especially because there's so much out there on the online space about spirituality, and it's like, oh my God, where the hell do I even start with it?
And on that, I would also just pick a couple of like spiritual leaders or people that resonate with you. Just tune into a couple of energies, because I think initially I did that, and then I got overwhelmed, and I was like listening to 20 different people and all of that, and it's like, just pick like 1 to 3 who really resonate with your soul, because there's a reason that they do, and it's because there's part of something in you that aspires to be something 100%. Similar to what they do.
100%. That kind of goes back to what we were saying about how we came across each other online. No idea how it happened, but there was something that you resonated within me, and then we worked together for nearly a year, because that's the energy that you were supposed to be around at that time. And I'm exactly the same. Like, I will tune into certain people's energies, and I won't overwhelm myself by trying to figure it out from every single social media channel, because everybody is different. But again, that's a practice in intuitively asking yourself, who do I resonate with that can help guide me on this journey?
Exactly.
Oh, Shanae, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I've been so excited to record this. That I've wanted you on here for a while now. And again, divine timing, this was the right time, right before you were about to launch your business. Let everybody know then where they can find you. I will obviously tag all your links, but where's the best place people can find you?
Yes, the best place would be, it's just my name, Shanae Brown, just underscore on Instagram. That would be the best place. You can either like DM me there, and I'll have all my links to everything from there. Otherwise, like, my YouTube channel is also my name. I'm starting to get a bit more consistent with that, which is great. And that's, at the moment, that's just a passion. I'm just like loving sharing, it gives me a platform to share my message and all of that. And I guess with like potential future clients, I want to be that person that I wish I had at the beginning of my spiritual journey, someone leading and guiding me and helping me navigate the way, essentially. Because that's what I felt like I really needed at the time, and I didn't have that. I had a friend, and we were stumbling through it together, and it's like, if I can help someone streamline that process a little bit, like, I'm doing my job.
Amazing. Oh, it has been such a joy. I know that your side of things, you're Australia, so it's evening for you now, so go and have a gorgeous rest of your evening, and girl, gonna get you back on the pod.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. Magical as always.
Oh, thanks, girl. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who you think would love it too. And if you want to let me know how you found it, just screenshot this episode, add it to your Instagram story, and tag me at I am Jessica Paul, so that I can throw all the love right back at you. And of course, subscribe, hit those 5 stars, and leave a review to show your support and to keep the good stuff coming. Sending you so much love and gratitude from your girl Jess.